I also have a lot of Promarkers, which I'm using to also do sketches or paint on fabric. Promarkers do wash off fabric, but not from the very first time. So if you want to make a top to last you a couple of washes, for about 5 washes, you can use them. And if you use a real black outline for fabric outliner, then in any case, even if you have the colors dying down, you know, washing off, you still will have a nice outline which will turn into a graphic design. Like, not graphic design, but like graphical painting in a graphic style. Huh? What's going on? That's that, and the last colourful set of things are my pencils, which I use quite a lot for sketching, for sure, and they are also Faber-Castell ones. Faber-Castell is expensive brand, but if you are buying such things as pencils, which never die in my opinion, these are already like 6 years old. I don't use them that often, but investment like this is really nice if you're actually planning to become professional and use professional tools. So when I graduated from university in Latvia, I actually bought these pencils, and they still last, and they're still wonderful, you know. I love the colors, I love the feel of the triangle shape of the pencil. It's actually triangle, it's not the rounded ones, so it's easy, nice to hold. They're really well thought of. So that's that. So I'm using these glass effect pens in different colors. So this one, as you know, I told you long ago before, I'm using the transparent ones for all the little droplets on polymer clay, which makes amazing water effect. But here's a secret. In 2-3 years after using them, if you actually kept that actual item in your hands, you can notice that the reaction had happened with polymer clay and this material, with this paint, and the liquid, the little droplets, start to become dusty and yellowish. It means that it starts to degrade. So if it's not absolutely necessary, these days I'm trying not to use this paint anymore, because if you are professionally selling something and people buying expensive things from you for a long time, like journals for example, they are expecting to keep that thing for a long time in their possession, and if it starts to degrade, deteriorate, they will be just very upset. The beautiful droplets are turning into yellow, gooey, sticky, peel off, rubbery things. That's what it is. So I wouldn't suggest you to use it, but I was using it before and I was suggesting it, but after 3-4 years of practice and I had some samples remaining, I saw what it turns into. So clearly it's not made perfectly for polymer clay, because polymer clay seems like it keeps reacting and reacting again and again in years. My polymer clay tools. So that's not everything, but these are the basic tools I am using on my daily basis. Let's start digging through, I guess. So I'll be very quick. You know what tools are, but if there's some interesting ones, I'm going to tell you what they actually are. So blades from Sculpey. I took off the handles. I'm only using the actual blades. They're nice and sturdy. I like them. I had this set for ages and it doesn't go rusty or anything on me, so it's good. I bought these sculpting tools. It was a whole set. It usually comes like this in a set of 10, and there's lots of different things. It's made for real, like the earthy clay, but I am only using the ones with the needle tool, the ones that look like this, because I carve and scrape things with it from clay. I do the carving sometimes in it, or I do the outlines like that. So that's how I use it. And this is just also, sometimes you need to do something. I can't really tell what exactly I'm doing with that. There's a lot of my favorite ball tools in here. I attempt to overcrowd my little stash with ball tools. Right now I have only that many. So I'm just making sure that with all the grades of different sizes of ball tools, I have all of them in my stash here. So if I need one, bigger or smaller size, I always had it. Some of them are from my from Mandarin Duck brand, from my own, and some of them are just from a very old ones. So they both look perfectly, they both work perfectly, sorry, that's what I wanted to say, but it's all about what you want. If you want the nicer looks, you can go for colorful ones. If you just don't care, then you buy something cheap. As long as it works, as long as it holds onto the handle nice, and as long as the nips are actually good quality, that's all you need. Right, I use quite a lot of rubber shapers. I didn't before, but I am now. So rubber shapers is this. Maybe they call silicone shapers. They come in different colors, and colors mean different hardness. So as far as I know, the gray one I have is the hardest, the toughest one, and the white ones, or sometimes I feel like the black ones, to be honest, not much of a difference. They're kind of softer. So depending what you work with, you'll use different colors. These I bought as a set of like 3 sets of 5, so 15 altogether on eBay. So they are widely available out there, and that one I got from artistic shop. And Sculpey also does shapers on the end of these tools, you know, these standard tools they have. So ball tools, standard ball tools on one side, and the silicone shapers on that one. But they're nice, but they're quite big. If you want something finer, then you're gonna have to shop online for that on somewhere on eBay. Right, I also have a couple of sets of tweezers, which I use quite a lot to pick up things when I'm putting little crystals or beads into my clay when I'm packing it, so I'm using quite a lot. Just different shapes. I collected during the lifetime, so I don't quite know. This is really old. This is my dad's. I collected them during the lifetime, so they work. I also use quite a lot of different scalpels, and there was a question about scalpels. They were asking me, hold on. I noticed in your videos that you cut shapes. No, I'm gonna reply that later. So these are the scalpels I use. You can see that some of them are like a one-time scalpels you can buy for very cheap, but they are really sharp. The blade is good, it's just the handle is plastic. From Swan Morton, Sheffield, England, so I guess that's English stuff. Maybe not available anywhere else. But these are like craft knives. One of them was purchased in a professional like architect shop, but they all work like this. You can unscrew the bottom and take out the blade and place any other blade you want, because blades come in different shapes, and it all just depends on what kind of blade you like to use. So I have one very, very old one from my mom's manicure set, which she bought when she was in Germany and age 35 or something like that. So this is like, whoa, 25 years old or something like that. How was my mom? It's actually quite dull. It doesn't cut me, but it has this good pressure on it. So when I'm doing the textures of like feather threads or something like that, or leaves, I'm using that one. If I need to cut something, most of the time I use this one because it has very, very sharp surgical blade from surgical steel, and I just really like it. It works well. But it's kind of a standard. You can use, I think you can buy them everywhere. So this is that. And okay, this is also something from that set I showed you before. This is my little pickup pencil for beads and crystals. It's kind of sticky, so it's easy to, it's from manicure set, so if you search on eBay you can find it in a manicure section. So just like you can write crystal pickup pencil or white crystal pencil, something like that. Then I have this tiny little spatula which picks up micro beads if I need a couple, because sometimes if you pour it out they just go all out like water. But if I need a couple, just pick it up from the jar, put it in my little container, and then I pick them one by one and I place them into clay. Right, and yeah, I also use these kind of tools. They also, you can buy them on eBay. They called sculpting tools or dental tools. They always come in a big set, but during, you know, while using them, I realized the majority of them I just don't use in what I do. Maybe you would actually find a way to use them, but this is how it looks. One is like a little sort of triangular end thingy, but extended, and another one is flat on one side and kind of wider on the other one. So with this side, with the flat one, I usually kind of move things around or smooth things, and with that one I do a lot of impressions, like with my, if you remember my alien designs, it has a lot of these triangles pressed in, so I was using this tool quite a lot. And there's a similar tool here, but it has the shorter and more wider triangular ending. I wish it would just show things better. I hope you can see. And another one is just like a spear thing. I'm not using it for anything unless I need to get something out of somewhere, but that's not clay related. I also have Christy Friesen tool, which I bought in Malta when I was in conference. It's quite nice and heavy. I do use it sometimes, but I guess I'm just so used to my old tools that it's easier to just grab something you know and do the movements that you know than using something that is kind of cool. You purchased it, but I couldn't find use for it, but I still keep it because sometimes I still do something, I just can't tell exactly what I'm using for, so because I'm not doing it so often. And there's also this little tool. It comes very, very often in manicure sets, very cheap manicure sets, but I like using this part when I'm doing the ears of the bunny or other ears, because when you create a shape of the ear and you need to create this inner part of the animal ear, you kind of go in and it creates this nice imprint, not imprint, but like the indentation with a little hole, so it looks naturally like an ear. I can't explain it, but I figured that out, so you can give it a try and maybe you'll figure that out too. The other part of it kind of also is like a spatula, so good for smoothing things sometimes, but I'm not using it that much. Also, if you completely don't have any ball tools, a nice ball pen that finished, doesn't write anymore, is very good. It's an old one. I found it on the street 5 years ago and I still keep it. I like finding things on the street and keeping them and picking them up. And I'm actually like a magpie. I always pick up things from the floor on the streets.